Good morning, everyone. Firstly, thank you for the time the Thicket Forum awarded to us to speak to you guys. My name is Stefan Jooste. I'm one of the technical managers for Terravusa Pasture and Land Management. So I suspect a lot of you are thinking, oh, here we go. Here's the poison guys. Here's the gifsmous. Not at all. I'm not here to sell you a product. I'm really here to show you how we can contribute to the conservation of biodiversity in the thicket areas, as well as in other areas of the Eastern Cape. So who are we? What do we do? Terravusa, we came up with the name. Obviously, Terra means earth in Latin, and then Vusa is the isiZulu word for awakening or the restoration of the earth. Our focus 100% on herbicides, whether for alien invasive plant clearing or for indigenous brush and tree species that becomes a problem and encroaches. So Terravusa aim to empower landowners to effectively clear their land of alien invasive plants, control certain indigenous plants that becomes problems, and we do this by providing efficacious solutions through recommending the responsible use of highly selective herbicides. Back. Alright, so this leads to optimal land use by generating more grazing and browsing available to livestock and game animals as well. This leads in turn to more profitable farming practices and also biodiversity protection. So where do we work? We work all through South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, and Eswatini as well. And our main activities, continuous product development. We continuously develop, do trial work to produce herbicides that's safer for the environment, safer for humans and animals, as well as being more selective towards the control of certain species. Product marketing and sales is, in essence, a big part of our business. On-site recommendations and planning of applications. So we're on the ground, we go to the landowner, and we go through the whole process of determining what the problem is and how to plan it to get to a solution. We also assist with the facilitating and planning of applications. We don't do the applications ourselves, but we connect the landowners with the application companies, whether it's ground teams, a drone operator, helicopter, depends on the needs. Also, we assist with follow-up plans. Once you start clearing alien plants or do bush encroachment control, you never stop. It's a lifelong project. I don't think there's any short-term solution for any of this. Alright, so some of the history and statistics around alien invasive plants in the Eastern Cape. A lot of this is common knowledge. I just think it's very important to focus on this every now and then. So the focus for me is the cactus species that's a problem. More specifically the prickly pear and the jointed cactus. Both of them is native from Mexico. The prickly pear was brought to SA for its multi-purpose fruit. It's used as fodder and also its hedging properties. So at its height, in the 30s, there was an estimated 900,000 hectares infested with prickly pear. At least something was done by the Department of Agriculture, and they initiated biological control. And by the 30s, after a couple of decades, about 3/4 of the populations was destroyed. We all know it's probably up to more or less half or maybe more of those hectares. In the 1980s, it was estimated to be around 100,000 hectares of infestation. So the jointed cactus also started spreading rapidly by the 1930s. It was a plant of very little to no use to anybody. The biological control campaign was less successful, And yeah, by 1982, it was estimated to have affected more than 800,000 hectares. Not just in the Karoo, you also get jointed cactus in the Prieska, Groblershoop, those areas in the Northern Cape. So how do they still spread? Predator beetles and ants, as well as some mammals, attack the cactus feeding insects, the biological control, and therefore reduce their effectiveness. And believe it or not, the eradication campaigns was resisted by some individuals in certain areas. Just a few credits for the facts and some of the text that I have here. Alright, so yeah, you guys know most of these alien invasives. We all know the lantana, balloon vine, the syringa, water hyacinth. These are just a few examples. There's many, many more. Like I said, my focus on these two cacti species. It's a major, major pain for us. So what's new? And you may ask, why do I have a photograph of an applicated drone there? Well, we are focusing a lot on drone work, on aerial application, for the simple fact that the technology exists to do more precise application on larger areas with drones than with ground teams. And also the technology exists to physically fly an area and map it with an NDVI or a multispectral drone. And you can physically GPS pinpoint your bigger puntier plants, and you can feed that information into the application drone, and it physically goes and only spray those plants without any negative effect on your natural bush. Alright, so I'm going to talk about one product called MesoView. So what is it? For those who have a bit of knowledge of active ingredients of agricultural chemicals, the actives are iminoperylate, picloram, and fluroxypyr. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of the picloram component totally yet. It's still one of the most effective ways to kill your problem prickly pears and your jointed cactus. It's all brought together in a liquid formulation. It's in essence just a synthetic hormone herbicide, non-toxic to human and animals. It does not kill your grass where you apply it. And as far as application go, use only on actively grown plants. When you apply it with a knapsack sprayer or with any other equipment, it's essential to apply it to both sides of the cladodes and as a full cover spray. So using a sufficient volume of spray. Do not apply to plants wet from rain or dew. So your best time of application is if you see that there's dew in the morning towards 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock when your dew is gone. And then, yeah, the most common method of applying it is with a knapsack sprayer with a solid cone nozzle. The nozzle selection is very, very important. A lot of times when you buy these cheaper backpack sprayers from the co-op or the hardware stores, it comes with a little plastic nozzle. Those nozzles are not adequate to ensure that you have the right droplet size. Because it's a major science behind the application. You have to have the right droplet size, the right amount of pressure with the application. Yeah, and then ensure all cladodes lying on the ground are fully treated. Those of you know that, or of you that knows cacti, wherever a piece breaks off, where it lands on the soil, it regenerates and forms a new plant. So all the bits and pieces on the ground in the immediate vicinity of your bigger populations should also be treated with this product. And also very important to plan and execute follow-up treatments. Timing of application during the active growing season, and check for cladode damage through browsing pressure. I've seen that kudu especially does feed on prickly pear in very dry times. Also for damage by insects or biological control damage. Plants should not show drought stress signs. So if you see the plants, the cladodes or the leaves start to yellow, it's normally a sign of drought stress. Do not apply the product above 30 degrees Celsius, and also try not to apply the product above a wind speed of 10 kilometers an hour. That's just to avoid spray drift. And the label says it's rainfast. In other words, the active ingredient is taken up into the stem and the leaves or the cladodes of the plant effectively within 6 hours of the application. I think that's just a over or exceeding warning. Normally what we see is if you get rain an hour after application, most of the active ingredient has been taken up. Alright, so these are a few efficacy photos that was taken in actual trial sites in 2017 in the Addo area, 24 months after application. This was done with a helicopter on old lands. So that is the effect of Mesoview 24 months after application. Totally decimates your prickly pear. This is another photo of that same site. Coming to the jointed cactus, also in the Addo area. Left side picture is 12 months after application. And there you can see there's not a lot of collateral damage around the jointed cactus plant of the natural forbs and grass and so on. And on the right hand side is 15 months after application. And yeah, that plant's totally dead. Just another two photos in the same area. On the right hand side is a bit of, I think that's the small leafed or small round leaf prickly pear in amongst the jointed cactus. I just sneak this in. We're not going to talk about other products today. We don't have the time, but we do have a range of products that can control most of the alien invasives that we get in the Eastern Cape. That photo was taken close to Grahamstown. It was 12 months after application with Sendero. It's a different, more selective herbicide than Mesoview. And you can see the lantana being taken out, amongst the natural vegetation with no collateral damage. In conclusion, as part of integrated management plan for privately owned or state-owned land, we need to control and we need to aim to eradicate these alien plants. I grew up in Graaff-Reinet, and the existence of the Opuntia species were natural to me growing up. We never knew that it was actually a problem until my conservation career started. It made sense to me that they don't belong anywhere. We need to take them out. Maybe in a little nursery in the 60s, and I think that's where the trouble started. Or in Tannie Betsy's garden on the farm, and it spread out, and we have a big problem today. So yeah, Terravusa wants to make the difference in finding new, safer, more selective herbicides, as well as more innovative application methods. The sensitive coastal regions need all of us to help protect the biodiversity of our precious indigenous vegetation. And this is very important to me. Product stewardship, people don't always think about that. It basically means where the environment, health and safety protection is centralized around the product itself. And everyone involved in the product's life cycle must take up responsibility to reduce the product's impact. Thank you.